Hey, it's Dave. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to review a record from 1974, Robin Trower's Bridge of Sighs album. Now, this is an album that is very important to me as a player because it takes a lot of elements of what I like about Jimi Hendrix and incorporates it into with great singing and great songs. People always ask me about Hendrix, and I can't say I'm a huge fan, but I love what he's done for guitar because I do believe that he's responsible for a lot of what I like. As far as we go, like the Band of Gypsies album, to me, the Band of Gypsies album. Now, there's a version of Band of Gypsies that has all four nights, and I love that record. Because to me, that was Jimmy on fire. Who Knows is probably my all-time favorite Jimi Hendrix song, and it's all about that vibe. I do like some stuff on Bold as Love, the pretty stuff like Bold as Love, or Castles Made of Sand is nice. One Rainy Wish on the early records. I'm not going to say that he didn't have, but like Stone Free, Foxy Lady, Purple Haze, I don't ever want to hear those songs again. Crosstown Traffic with that kazoo. It drives me nuts when I hear that. I'm listening to a kazoo. But yeah, so there's a lot of people who were definitely inspired, if not greatly heavily influenced by Hendrix, that took what he did. Obviously we could say Ritchie Blackmore. You could listen to a song by Rainbow called, I think it's called Catch the Rainbow, which is like Little Wing, and there's a lot of really derivative stuff out there. But the thing I like about Robin Trower's band is because he took like a snapshot of like if you were a band that were to cover the song Who Knows, and then you were like a big Bad Company fan, obviously I think Bad Company's first album is 74 too. So let's say you were a Free fan and you loved the sound of Paul Rodgers' voice. Well, then you found it in a guy like James Dewar. I think that's how you pronounce his name. It looks like Dewar, like the liquor, but I think it's Dewar. That voice is unbelievable. And I think it's an album that's greatly overlooked. So let's take a look at the record, shall we? The first song on the record is Day of the Eagle, which is what I opened with in the introduction here. A monster. A great song. You can't help but go like this when you're playing the guitar because it's just like, it's so happening. It's a great groove. The vocal's awesome. It's just great. And it leads into the second song, which is the ominous sounding Bridge of Sighs. Again, James Dewar killing it in the song. Robin Trower just laying down these tasty univibe. Let's talk about his tone. Because these two songs back to back, that tone is just monstrous. And here I'm using like just a Fender Mustang amp going through a USB, and I'm trying to imitate it as much as I could using they didn't have a univibe. I used a like a roto vibe, and I slowed it down, and I did some stuff in the sound to make it sound as close as I could to it. But it's basically you've got a Strat going into like a Marshall sound, a heavy, almost like a fuzz tone sound. Pedals I would use I would recommend. Number one on my list would be the Mike Vickery's Vic Audio 73 Ram's Head Fuzz. Awesome. You can get all the Trower sounds, all the David Gilmour sounds. It's fantastic. I would also recommend. Now, people see me use this pedal quite a bit when I used to run around and do the blues thing, and especially on that type of a song. I would use what's called an Indigo Fuzz by Brad Jetter. The problem with the Indigo Fuzz is that I would drive it using another pedal in front of it, like a clean boost in front of it, to give it a little bit of a push, and then it would give you that sound. So if you're using like a drive in front of it, I think I used an AC booster in front of it to give it that little zing, and then it's great. And then it's just awesome. But that's also, they don't make that pedal anymore. It's hard to find. And in all honesty, I would stick with that the Mike Vickery pedal, the Vic Audio 73 Ram's Head. It's awesome. True bypass. Sounds great. He's got a couple of dip switches so you can kind of change the EQ on it. Basically that and a Univibe. I use the Deja Vibe, the black one by Mike Fuller at Full Tone. I love it. There's some other ones that are great. I have to say, there's a lot of great Univibe pedals out there right now. You can even cheat it and get like what's that? It's real inexpensive by Voodoo Labs, but it's a Vibe. I forget what they call the Vibe, but whatever. It's a great pedal. But anyways, I use the Mini Deja Vibe, the black one. It's great. Does everything. There's one that's in Europe floating around. I haven't had a chance to play it, but from the demos I see, it's called like the Electric Orange Moon Vibe 2. I mean, if it was around, I'd buy it. It's awesome. Sounds awesome in the demos. But that's really what you need for those sounds. It was basically Hendrix's sound. I think Hendrix used a fuzz face and the Shin-A, which is the Univibe that him and Robin Trower used. Moving on to the next song. The next song on the album is In This Place, which is a great haunting, finger-picked type of thing. Comes right out of Bridge of Sighs, keeps that mellow thing going. It's just great. A 1-2-3 punch, and then kicking it in with Foolin' Me for song number 4, which is awesome. And I'm trying to remember. I think it was Van Halen that used to cover that back in the early days when they were first starting off, the Foolin' Me. It's just great. And for those that, don't know this record, I really highly recommend going out and getting it. For a guitar player, it's something that you can play with. You don't necessarily have to figure out everything he's doing because, but to play along with it, these grooves and that sound, it's not for the Les Paul player. This is definitely a Strat guy's album. The next song is Two Rolling Stoned, which is another classic, which is crazy because it's like, so the first 5 songs on this album I think are legendary. I think they're songs that you must know. Just great. I can't say enough great things about this record. It's definitely like one of those albums that's under talked about, and that's what I'm going to try to do in my album reviews, is bring about albums that that I think got overlooked, that by a lot of people. You don't hear these songs on the radio. Yeah, you hear a lot of the blues guys talk about Robin Trower, and personally, I would never go see him live because I have 4 or 5 of his albums, and 4 of them you could throw. Personally, I would throw out. I just don't care for them. I just don't think they're that great. But something about Bridge of Sighs was like where that you don't know what it is, but like when songwriting, tone, sound, everything comes together and it makes a record, and you're like, what the heck is this? From a band that I thought was just okay before. I'm trying to think if there's. I mean, I guess you could probably say it with Deep Purple. Like the Deep Purple albums before Machine Head were probably like. And I'm not a huge Deep Purple fan, so it's hard for me to say. Although I like the album Who Do We Think We Are much better than Machine Head. But Machine Head, every song was like a great song. And it came from records that had like 1 or 2 good songs, at least in my opinion. I know all these Deep Purple guys are going to be. If I'm missing a Deep Purple record earlier in rock or something and you think it's fantastic, just let me know in the comments. I'll check it out. I've never listened and thought anything. Afterwards, of course, Burn and Stormbringer, I love. I mean, those are great. And Who Do We Think We Are, I think, is the best album with the classic 5. But moving back, let's get back to Robin Trower. Song 6 is a song called About to Begin. And this song is a somewhat haunting. It's got like an off-time feel. Completely, again, like it's original in respect to like all 6 songs have their own sound, and they're all great. They're all great songs. When we get to song 7, Lady Love. Lady Love to me has a little bit of a vibe of the first song of Day of the Eagle. It's definitely back to blues, groove, rock. It's not as good as Day of the Eagle. On its own, it's still a great song. I just think that it's like, and like I said, it's great. It flows with the flow of the record because you get back out of, you get back going back to that sound, and it's great. I just don't think it's on the level of 1 through 6. It's definitely, if 1 through 6 is a 9.5, this song is like a 9, but still great, right? And that brings us to the last song on the album, A Little Bit of Sympathy. A Little Bit of Sympathy is. There are days when it's my favorite song on the record. It's just such a great album closer. I mean, it just has like. It's so killer. It's. Again, it's right back up to 9.5 again on the song. It's just great. I highly recommend this. What I would recommend to do is go on Google, go on YouTube, and look at these songs. People have them posted, and then go out and buy the album. It's definitely an album you want to have. If you're a Strat player, it's a sin if you don't have this record. It is, it's like to me, it's a bit of history in rock and roll. It's just a great, great record. As far as one of my top favorite guitar albums go, it's definitely up there as a must-have. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love it. But anyways, I would highly recommend you go out and get this record. Robin Trower, Bridge of Sighs is one of the quintessential albums that should be in every guitar player's collection. If you don't have it, run out and get it. If you do have it, post your comments of what you think of it. Let me know how you like it. And if you happen to like, maybe, I know I didn't say Lady Love was on the level of the record. I think it's good, but I just think it's more. But if you disagree, please let me know. These are just my opinions. And thanks for watching. Very good.